let's start the show. It's a very rare sight when I get sidetracked with my production schedule. At the time of me writing this script, I just came back from seeing the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and yeah, that review will get done because it's expected of me to do so. Yet instead of working on it, I've decided to write and record a video on another film. Not to jump on a wave of Oscar buzz or cheap clickbait, but because I legitimately want to talk about it. It's time to shine a personal spotlight on Parasite and what I took from it. Let's begin. Parasite is the 2019 film directed by Bong Joon that tells the story of the Kim family, a working-class South Korean family that is trapped in their economic situation, living in a basement flat and struggling to get by through low-paying temporary work. One day, Ki-woo Kim is visited by a college friend and is given an opportunity. Take his friend's spot as an English tutor to a rich family while that friend studies abroad. It's at this point where not only does Ki-woo begin his job as the tutor to the wealthy Park family, but also sets into motion a plan to get his family to con their way into the Park's life, essentially gaining employment no matter the moral cost. The ends justify the means when there's no options left on the table. As such, the Kims wind up orchestrating the termination of workers employed by the Parks and thus taking their place, kinda like a parasite. Now, before I get into this critique, I will casually mention that before I saw Parasite, I broke a cardinal rule that I have, and that is I have watched another review/critical analysis done by somebody else. In this case, I watched a video done by Wisecrack. As such, I will credit them with a link to their video in the description down below. Cause whether or not I'd like to admit it, no matter how much I claim that my viewpoint is untainted, the moment I take in another viewpoint is the moment I slowly deviate from what was supposed to be just my opinion. The one takeaway I got from this film was how the Kim family wasn't being portrayed as despicable. Sure, they're conning a naive rich family, but they don't intend to cause harm to those around them. The Kims find themselves stuck in such hardship and are trying to do whatever it takes to survive in an uncaring, cruel world. Each member of their family has an incredibly remarkable skill set from years of trying to survive doing odd jobs. Despite this incredible skill set, the Kim family isn't given a possible way out until Ki-woo's friend is able to give him a job as an English teacher. When Ki-woo meets Miss Park, she casts aside his forged credentials and says that just knowing that his friend recommended him is all that she needs. In case you might have missed that, let me break it down to you. Your skills and experience don't get you the job. It's a social game. It's nepotism. It's not what you know, but who you know. It is because of that flaw that the Kim family are able to take up positions of employment with the Park family. On the other end of the divide, you have the Park family. While it would also be an easy way to possibly vilify the Parks, they are somewhat normalized in their portrayal. They are incredibly naive, and with how the film is set up, you're kind of cheering for the Kim family since the Kims are the main protagonists, yet the Parks are somewhat likable, just incredibly disconnected, and as a result, you also feel somewhat guilty for the Kim family taking advantage of the Parks' naivete. At one point in the film, Mr. Park mentions how he hates Mr. Kim's smell. He comments that Mr. Kim smells like someone who uses the subway. Immediately after that conversation, the Kims walk out into the middle of a rainstorm only to have to walk down an increasing slope through an industrial tunnel whose tiled appearance resembles that of certain subway stops, or at least the ones that I've been to in both Toronto and Vancouver respectively. This rainstorm could be an apt metaphor for the concept of trickle-down economics. The concept of it is, if the government gives tax benefits for the incredibly wealthy, it will revitalize the economy and eventually make its way towards the working class families. Trickle-down economics, in theory, is great, if not for the fact that rich people primarily just hoard wealth while the poor suffer trying to get basic essentials needed to live. For the poor, there's a glass ceiling they have to smash through in order to make sure that their basic needs are being met. Meanwhile, the wealthy have what is known as a glass floor, where even if they mess up multiple times, there's still a pretty damn good chance that they're going to be okay. For example, let's just say someone who was born into money, who has had multiple bankruptcies, and despite those bankruptcies, managed to come out on top, if not stronger. In Parasite, The runoff from that earlier mentioned rainstorm floods the entire area where the Kim family resides. As a result, thousands of people who live in that poor neighborhood are displaced from their homes and forced to get emergency shelter. The Park family, on the other hand, are perfectly fine enjoying a bright and sunny birthday party for Dasong Park. Once again, I cannot stress this enough. The Park family are not villains. They're incredibly out of touch with reality as a result of their immense wealth, and that's the unfortunate point. Bong Joon-ho's Parasite is a wonderfully bleak look into the world of late-stage capitalism. It's a film which is expertly written and cast, and I feel it would be a shame if you didn't give it a watch. At this moment in time, Parasite has been rumored to be getting a remake with an all-white cast. Apparently because Bubba in the middle of butt nowhere can't be bothered to watch a movie with subtitles. I'm not saying that possibly redoing it would be an awful decision. After all, many much beloved comic, video game, and movie adaptations have wound up to become amazing. I would say though that you should give the original a crack first. I'm SonicMTD, and do you know anyone who's hiring? I'm serious. I don't have a job, and being on unemployment insurance kinda isn't sitting well with me. This video was proudly supported by Unsung Heroes of Patreon.
Hey everybody, my name is Matthew Tyler DeLeo, better known as SonicMTD. Thank you so much for catching my video review of Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. I still don't know whether or not this video is going to be an episode of Always Right Reviews, if it's going to be an episode of In My Honest Opinion, or if it's possibly going to be a one-shot. We're doing improv. Surprise! But either way, please be sure to like and subscribe to this video, and leave me a comment down below. Regardless of what it is, I always take a look at what is being posted as a means of being able to get critiques and feedback and improve my craft. If you look up here on the webpage, you will see whatever YouTube recommends that you watch, and down here is going to be a playlist of probably everything that I've done from Always Right Reviews. Either way, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. My name is Matthew Tyler DeLeo, better known as SonicMTD. Arigato gozaimasu, and later days.